Watkins from Your Black World, the Black Business School. I am in the airport and I was hanging out for a while, so I thought that I would hop in for a little bit and do some have some conversation about finances and money and investing and things like that, based on a recent study that I just read. I thought I would share some of these results with you guys and kind of give you some analysis on what I'm seeing here. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. That's very important. I want to say welcome to everybody who is watching from the Black Financial Channel. If you don't know about the Black Financial Channel, that's where we talk about financial stuff all day long. One of the things I had to do was I like to talk about everything. Y'all know me. I like to talk about everything black. And there are some people I realize who really just want to hear me talk about financial stuff, and that's it. So if that's who you are, and that's what you want, regular financial updates, then subscribe at theblackfinancialchannel.com. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. So give me 1 second here. Hit the thumbs up button while I do this. I'm gonna send out a text message, let the family know that we're live. Hey, how you doing, Catherine and Mega J and the CAD aficionado? And is that contend F? I can't read that. Sorry, San Antonio. Omega's in the house, my man. Let's see, Tasa Det. Hey, from Detroit. Shaquana, I cannot do the 9 to 5 anymore. Yeah, I hear you. Shoot. Give me a second. Let me send out the text message. Let everybody know that we're live. Let me see here. So what I want to talk about is Forbes' study of black female entrepreneurs, and the results were kind of shocking, in that there was a lot of cause for celebration. There was also a lot of reason for concern, and so what I want to do is kind of break some of this down, so you guys can kind of have it in a perspective and a context that makes sense. Now, in case you want to know what I'm doing this week, I'm actually going to Philadelphia to do the financial Juneteenth investing seminar that I mentioned to you guys. I'm going to be in Philly doing this seminar on Malcolm X's birthday on May 19th. So if you live in Philadelphia or near Philadelphia, you want to make the trip, you can go to drboycephiladelphia.com. That's drboycephiladelphia.com. So keep hitting the thumbs up button, please. All right. So here's what basically was so interesting about this study. On one hand, Forbes took the time to do quite a detailed expose on the status of black female entrepreneurs and black women that were starting businesses. And there was a lot of information that was obtained from the study in terms of how black women are doing. And I'm going to tell you this, black women are just kicking butt when it comes to starting businesses. They are blowing away the competition. They're blowing away everybody. They're blowing away everybody, especially in the rate of business creation. And I'm really impressed by that, because I think that the solution for black people is to own our own stuff. There ain't no other solution. Getting good jobs and working for white folks, we tried that. We tried that for hundreds of years, and look where that got us. It ain't got us nowhere. Right? They still own everything. And when you have no ownership, you have no power. Well, according to this, the State of Women-Owned Business Report, commissioned by American Express, while the number of women-owned businesses grew an impressive 58% from 2007 to 2018, the number of firms owned black women grew by a stunning 164%, nearly 3 times that rate. There are 2.4 million African-American women-owned businesses in 2018, most owned by women 35 to 54. Black women are the only racial or ethnic group with more business ownership than their male peers. Did y'all hear what I just said? I want y'all. I'm gonna let y'all kind of process that a little bit, what I just said there, because I gave you a lot of information, and I'm actually literally, because I want to make sure I state these things and make these points. I'm literally writing these things down. I'm taking notes to remind myself to not forget what I'm saying. Here's the part that was interesting, right? That black women actually we're creating businesses at a much faster rate than everyone else. That's very promising, right? That says that we are outgrowing some of the fear that causes us not to start businesses. A lot of us, we are conservative. We are conservative people, and we've survived all this time, through fear. Fear of what white folks will do if we, ever try to coordinate a strategy or work together. Just fear of damn near everything. Fear of what's going to happen if the business doesn't work out and I can't pay the bills. fear of what my neighbors and my friends are going to think because we don't have much support in our communities. Just fear of everything, right? Sometimes we even fear success. Who the hell heard of that, right? I mean, what the hell is that? Fearing your own success. But there are people that are literally afraid of success, afraid of success. And so it sounds to me like, based on the results of this study, that black women as a collective are overcoming a lot of those fears. That you're seeing sisters starting businesses and really doing what we're supposed to do, taking our natural place on the throne. And I think that's great. Now, here's what's also fascinating about this. I was also really impressed with the fact that the raw number, they said there are 2.4 million African American women owned businesses in 2018. And that's the most owned by women aged 35 to 54. So that means that we beat everybody. Black women, I mean, it's crazy, right? What, 6% of the population? Black women have more businesses. I mean, based on what I'm reading, they're saying that between the ages of 35 and 54, black women own more businesses than anyone. So it's not that, so that's deeper than just a percentage growth, right? Percentage growth is, a percentage, right? Based on how big the original base was. So if your base is small, it's easy for your percentages to be big. Right? Like let's say let's say I invest $1 million and I make, $2 million. And let's say you invest $100 and you make 1,000. Well, you could say your growth rate was 1,000%, but really who made the most money, right? I made $1 million, you made $900, but your percentage is much higher, which is impressive, but it's not so impressive, right? But even when you look at raw numbers, actual numbers, you see black women are still leading the pack, which I applaud. First of all, I think we need to take a moment of silence and just appreciate the black woman. Just say, thank you, God bless you, we respect you. Digital round of applause for the black woman. I want to make sure we do all this because I think it's important to show that appreciation. We don't do that enough. And brothers, I want y'all to really show respect to women so that we can build our families and build our community, because we can't do it without the women. But women, please don't forget, y'all can't do it without us, right? So don't act like you can do it by yourself, and we won't act like we can do it by ourselves, because both of us would be some lying motherfuckers. Excuse my French. All right, so let's keep going. Now, somebody was asking, do we have a marketing class in the Black Business School? We have marketing apparatus. We're looking for another marketing faculty member. The person that we had wasn't doing a very good job, so we had to replace her. But I'll keep you posted as we make adjustments. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. So we're talking about black women, the state of black women owning businesses in this Forbes report, in this article that was written in 2018. Now, here's the other part that is, I don't think it's reason for applause. I don't think it's a reason to be happy, and it's nobody's fault. It's just, it is what it is. Black women are the only racial or ethnic group with more business ownership than their male peers. So black women are the only group. You throw in Jews, Latino women, Arab women. They don't own more businesses than their men. Black women own more businesses than their men. So that's a mixed bag, right? On one hand, it speaks to how extraordinary black women are. On the other hand, it speaks to the situation we're dealing with. Ladies, tell me what you think on this. But most heterosexual women I know don't really want to compete with men like that. They don't want their man, they don't want to dwarf their man. They don't want their man to be 20 steps behind, right? If no matter how educated a woman is, most women want their man to be at least equally educated, maybe a little smarter. Like I've heard that. I've heard a lot of women say, I want a man I can learn from. Well, if you got a PhD in nuclear physics, there aren't a lot of black men that you can learn from maybe in that context, because you have so much education because of the way our society is structured and what's kind of happened to the black man in America. I don't care if a black woman is 6'3", she in many cases wants her man to be 6'4" or taller. she needs that extra inch to just kind of know, like, hey, he's kind of a step above me, step ahead of me. If she is 40 years old, maybe she wants the man to be 42. Right, 43, or she's 22, she wants the man to be 25, right? So a lot of times women kind of want their men to at least keep up with them, at least to the point where if you, like for example, I date a woman who has a PhD, and I know how her brain works, and she's very, very smart, and she's read every damn book in the building. And I cannot imagine her trying to, deal with a stupid man. because she has her thinking runs a mile a minute. She has a million different ideas she wants to bounce off of me, and a million theories and perceptions that she has on a daily basis. So the fact that I have a PhD and I can kind of keep up with that allows for a comfortable conversation. Or she comes home from work, at the university and says, "Oh, let me tell you what those every black person has these conversations. Tell me if you have these let me tell you what those white people did today." Right? You come home, you're like, "Let me tell you what those white people did." Now I just kind of mess with her and I say, "Well, I don't really know much about what white people do on the job anymore because I got away from that shit. My plan was to get out, right? You stayed in. I'm gonna provide you as much support as I can, but you don't really want too much advice from me because I'm the Negro that'll get you fired. I'm the one who's gonna say, why are you putting up with that shit again? Why are you letting those people do that again? So I'm not the person that you want advice from when it comes to how to function in a dysfunctional workplace, because I believe that dysfunction is something that you should avoid and get away from. I don't know how healthy it is to try to cope with dysfunction, because racism makes people stupid and crazy, and so when the stupid crazy person has all the power, then it's almost like a child trying to deal with a schizophrenic parent or an alcoholic parent. One day they're giving you a hug and a birthday cake, the next minute they're smacking you and throwing you out the window, and then they're giving you a hug again, and you go crazy. Literally, seriously, children of schizophrenic parents are more likely to become schizophrenic because they're trying to figure out like what's mama. Wait, she's happy, she's sad, she's what? Mama, I'm sorry, right? That's what we do with white folks, because white folks are your parents. They've been like your parents since you got off the slave ships. They run, your institutions. They control you hand your kids over to them so they can go to their schools. You're consuming all their crazy ass media, and then you're going to work for them when you go get that bachelor's degree, and you're dealing with these schizophrenic parents that are dumping this racism on you in various forms and doses, and you don't know how to handle that. So you go crazy, you get pissed off, you start drinking. I know black folks that became alcoholics or had to see a therapist because they couldn't deal with the white people on their job. Right? It's some real shit. It's serious. Like, this literally affects your mental and physical health. This is part of the reason that black men die so young, just trying to handle the stress of dealing with white folks. Pins and needles every damn day. Fuck that. I wouldn't try to live like that. Nope. In fact, when I was learning how to start a business, I really saw it as like a life or death type situation. I saw it as life or death. I said, if I don't learn how to support myself without these people bossing me around, I'm literally going to go insane. So I literally must work on this as if my life depended on it. Well, in this study, they actually say that that's the number one reason why so many black women started their businesses too. They actually go further down. It's so funny when white people write about like the frustrations of black people, that they write about that shit like they're surprised, like they're like, "Oh my goodness, we had no idea." And it's like, no, you guys have been assholes to us for 200, 300, 400 years. Like, you don't know yet. You haven't seen yourself. So anyway, let me keep reading. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. It says so here's further down in the article, they say that basically the overwhelming majority of the women, I'm not reading, I'm just summarizing, that they left the corporate plantation because they were frustrated. They felt that they were enduring racism on the job, which is just not a surprise at all. The article is on Forbes. It's called "Black Women Entrepreneurs: The Good and Not So Good News." So if you want to look it up, you can look at it. So let me do a straw poll right quick. How many of you have ever felt that you've been hit by racism on the job? Yes or no? Yes or no? How many of you have been hit by racism on the job? Yes or no? Okay, I see me and Dual says yes, and Lisa and counter F. I can't read that. Live free. Okay, I see a lot of yeses. Yes. So it's really fascinating. I mean, I know just now they just passed the Equality Act, and of course they got the black people out front screaming for the Equality Act, right, which has to do with the LGBT community, where basically now all the civil rights protections that were given to black people are now going to extend to people based on who they're having sex with, right? So if you're a man, you're sleeping with a man, then it's your lucky day, because now you're going to be treated as if you've been black your whole life, right? Maybe they should come up with a civil rights act for people that, that like to cheat on their wives, or like that's a sexual preference, right? Maybe they can have one for people that like to get beat up in the bedroom and peed on. Like that could be a sexual preference. Like I like to get peed on by R. Kelly. Like, or maybe that's like a new category, right? Like I don't know. Like I mean, to me, I always found it very strange that you will take a sexual preference and really equate that with an ethnicity, and equate that with the struggles and the pain that came with being black for all these centuries. Seriously, I'm sorry. I have respect for my brothers and sisters in the LGBT community, but being gay ain't the same as being black. And I think that we're going to get to a point where I won't even be able to make that statement. I won't have the freedom to even say that anymore, because they're going to then try to come and persecute or arrest people for making statements like that. So I don't understand how. I mean, if you're going to just go ahead and categorize a sexual preference the same way you categorize, what black people have gone through. I mean, there are lots of people I know who do all kinds of freaky stuff in the bedroom. So can't you categorize all of that as a sexual preference? And just be clear, the stuff with little kids and animals ain't far behind. That they're eventually going to try to normalize that. It'll probably take 40, 50 years, but that's where it's all headed. And I have reason to believe that based on the fact that I've seen things in Hollywood and just been made aware of things that are going on that lead me to believe that there is an agenda amongst those who are hiding in the shadows, so that they can eventually come out into the open, and that's just all I'll say about that. But anyway, let me keep going. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Oh, and by the way, I'm in Philadelphia, so I'll be speaking here on May 19th in a couple of days. So if you want to come out, go to drboycephiladelphia.com. That's drboycephiladelphia.com. And don't forget, we're on iTunes. So download the podcast on iTunes when you get a chance. So here's another interesting area. They said that revenue lags for black female entrepreneurs. They said American Express found that the gap between what black women make as entrepreneurs and everyone else, it's not only big, but it's growing. For women of color, average revenue dropped from $84,000 in 2007 to $66,400 in 2018. So the revenue dropped. For white women, it went up. For non-minority businesses, revenue rose from 181, which was already more than twice as high as us, to 212. So it went from being twice as high to almost 4 times as high. So the average non-black woman-owned business earns almost $250,000 a year, $212,000. The average black-owned business run by black women makes $66K. And the gap between African-American women-owned businesses, average revenue, and all women-owned businesses is the greatest. Okay, so that's what they're saying. So ultimately, what I really see there is that a lot of our businesses, first of all, they're not fully capitalized. They're not, given access to capital like they should be. And that's where places like the Black Business School come into play, because most of our capitalization models were specifically designed for black people. Because when you go to business school, not only do they put you deep in debt, which is right there, that's a huge wealth mistake a lot of our families make. That's why the average college graduate, actually half of all college graduates won't be able to pay their debt. So that means game over. You kind of, unfortunately, the wealth game is built upon having positive net worth, right? So if you can't pay, if you default on your student loans, then your net worth is probably, pretty low or close to negative, which means that the wealth gap, it was going to grow because your wealth is actually going backward. So the first step that we sought to help solve, or first problem we wanted to solve, was how do we allow black folks to get everything they need without giving away all their family wealth in the process. $250,000 over a 4-year period, or 150,000, or whatever the number is, that's a lot of money to give away. That's a lot of money to spend. And I would prefer to see young people get access to education at a lower cost, maybe for $5,000 a year or something like that, and be able to use that $150,000 they were going to give the big white university and put that toward their business. Right? Just that model alone, that capitalization model alone, will go a long way, right? So instead of putting all your money toward that college degree, which is an asset, a college degree is an asset. The problem is that it's an asset that does not produce revenue at a level high enough to make up for what it costs. So it's almost like going to buy, it's like when Donald Trump went and bought this big fancy hotel. I'm gonna tell you all the truth. Like, Trump was not a horrible businessman back in the day. At least he did some really interesting and somewhat impressive things when he was like 28, 29 years old. He buys this building for $400 million. And they're questioning the purchase because Trump paid so damn much for the building. He just wanted to own the building. That's one of his setbacks. That's one of his weaknesses. Is he's an empire builder, and he doesn't always think about the efficiency of his next business move. So Trump wanted to own the building just so he could say, I own this building, right? I guess for him, maybe that was the way he got girls or whatever it was. But the problem was, I think he paid $400 million for the building, and all the experts were saying it's a great building and the revenue's great. And Trump's like, yeah, the revenue's great. The revenue's it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. We're gonna make it's like, yeah, that's good, that's true. But the problem is that the building's only worth $300 million, and you pay $400 million, which means that you're not going to be able to get a return on investment that will justify an expense of that magnitude. So effectively, what Trump was caught in at that moment was what we in economics, we refer to that as the winner's curse. The winner's curse is when you get into a bidding war with somebody and you think you won, but really you lost because you overpaid for the asset. Or like dating, like you ever have a time where you fought for somebody, like really got into it with somebody over some girl or some guy, right? And you're fighting with that person and you go through all hell back and forth to get the person, and then you finally won. And then like a couple years later, you realize that you actually lost because the person turns out to be a son of a bitch, right? That's kind of the winner's curse, where you think you won, but you lost. When I was in college, I remember all these girls used to compete to try to date these basketball players, because at University of Kentucky, all the basketball players got all the girls. I didn't get any girls. I had like one little girlfriend. I held on to her for dear life. But they would get all the girls, and all these girls would compete for these guys, doing all kinds of like tricks to get these dudes, right? And I would be thinking, wow, I don't think they know what they're getting. They're not really getting a good man. Like I would work at the front desk, and I would sign people in and out, and I would see some guys, they would sign in like 4 different girls in the same night. And each girl, I'd be like, wow, it seems like all these girls really think that they might get him, that might be their man, but none of them are going to get him. And if they get him, he's probably got all kinds of diseases and stuff. Like, do you really want that? And then years later, you'd see some of these guys, they be broke, because in their little professional basketball career doesn't pan out. They ain't got no education. So you see him 30, 35 years old, and he's broke as hell, and you won, you lucked out because he's your husband. But did you really luck out? Did you really win? Maybe, there were other assets around that you could have invested in, meaning human assets, meaning people you could have invested your time in, that would have given you a better return on your investment, right? So, in fact, that I even have nicknames for stuff like that. I call that one like the Halle Berry problem, like how Halle Berry kept getting all these really high-profile men and these amazing men that every woman wanted, like Eric Benet and the baseball player, I forgot his name, and then she ends up like more miserable than anyone, So basically, for college graduates, we kind of have the Halle Berry problem to an extent. We have the winner's curse. We go and we give everything that we can to get these college degrees, and then we feel like, hey, look at me, look, mama, I made it, and we dancing at the graduation, and we really think we've made progress for the race, and really, the people that are really laughing, the people that are happiest, are the people that got $200,000 of your family wealth in exchange for a piece of paper. And the piece of paper, unfortunately, doesn't even do what you thought it was going to do, because you have to make a lot of money to justify a $200,000 investment in an education. There are lots of ways, and again, I'm not talking as just some guy who's just running his mouth. I was a college professor for 25 years. I could not understand why students paid $50,000 a year to learn from people like me at Syracuse. I wouldn't have paid $50,000 a year to learn from me at Syracuse. Now I might pay $10,000 a year to learn from me at Syracuse, because I can teach you some stuff. But $50,000 a year puts you so far in a hole that you're going to end up looking like Trump did when he overpaid for those hotels. Okay. So anyway, let me keep going. So hit the thumbs up button, please. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button. Also, don't forget we're on iTunes, and also you can join our social media platform at Blag Enough. I'll write it down so you guys can see it. So the other thing that they mentioned in this study, here's how you spell it. Here's how you spell Blag Enough. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. I'll hold it up to There we go. All right. So that's our social media platform. That's where black people we're gathering in case Facebook decides to kick us all off. All right. So one of the things that they say is that it's pretty evident that one of the primary reasons for black women to start businesses is frustration on the job. They feel they can't get anywhere. We have been to 7 cities doing the outreach and talked to a lot of black women. There's a feeling of being passed over for promotions, a sense of workplace fatigue. What's also evident is that the businesses tend to stay very small and you don't see a lot of scalability. So that's where our training, as a community comes into play. One of the biggest challenges for black entrepreneurs is that most of our businesses are pretty much situations where people simply own their job, right? You bought your way out of a job and it becomes like this massive one man, one woman show where you're doing everything. You're the CEO and the secretary and the garbage man and the, whatever, and the marketing person and all this other stuff. And the reason I think we think that way is because we're the ultimate laborers. We spent hundreds of years doing manual labor for nothing, busting our butts, and not getting paid for it. We're the hardest working people in American history. I'm holding this up. Somebody asked how to spell this. And as a result, we will just work ourselves into a grave. And what I have found is that when I really analyze rich people, I pay attention to how rich people move differently from other people. And I'm not just talking about people who were born rich. You can learn from them too, actually, believe it or not. I don't want you to get into this vilification of rich people thing. I just don't think that's healthy for anybody. Honestly, I just don't. I think you learn the game. You watch your competitors. You study how they got ahead of you. You study powernomics. You study how they got to where they are so you can figure out your own strategy. But anyway, one of the things about rich people I've noticed, let's say like Jeff Bezos, started off as a regular dude who had a regular job, who now runs Amazon. Amazon's now worth almost $1 trillion, or maybe it is worth $1 trillion. I can't remember. I got to double check. Bezos, the way he thinks is he thinks in terms of systems. He knew from the jump that he can never work enough to create $1 trillion company. He can't do enough work to do $1 trillion worth of work. What you do is you learn systems and you learn processes. You learn how to delegate. And that's a skill I think it's best if you start teaching your children this early. A system is like a machine. A system and a machine can always outwork a person. A human being gets tired. A human being gets old. Human beings get sick. And a lot of our businesses struggle or fall apart because the one or two human beings that are holding it down and holding it together get sick, get tired, they get old, or they die. And then when they die, the whole business dies. I mean, has anybody seen that? Where you had a great business that was there and then one person died and the whole shit just disappeared? Has anybody, tell me if you've seen this? Yes or no? I need to know that you're in this with me, that you understand what I'm saying here. And so I think one good test for you as an entrepreneur, for everybody in here that's going to be one. If you're not an entrepreneur, you're a wantrepreneur. That means you want to get there. I think everybody should want to get off the corporate plantation. Just get away from those crazy people at your job. There are other ways for you to make your money. Well, one of the challenges I submit to you is to try to see if you could set your business up where you could take a 1-week vacation and not do anything, and the company can still run on its own. That's a heck of a test. It's very difficult, but do that so that you can make sure that this business is going to actually give you a legacy. One of the things I'm going to do a lecture on in Philadelphia is creating a 100-year plan for your family. And where this concept came from was the fact that, empire building is much easier if you give yourself plenty of time. Like if it's hard to, there's only so much you can do in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but there's a lot you can do in the next, say, 40 years. But you got to have enough vision. Sometimes we just keep thinking like it's going to be 2019 forever, and it's not. There was a time when we used to thought it was going to be 2003 forever, right? But imagine somebody in 2003 who was planning to have power by 2019. Well, that person could have done a lot. I mean, you think about Amazon. Do you know that in 2002, 2003, you could have bought shares of Amazon stock for like $10, maybe 15 or 20? Do you know Amazon stock is worth almost $2,000 a share now? I think it's $1,900. So if you put the amount of money, let's say you put the money in that it would cost to buy a used car back there. Let's say $8,000 in Amazon stock. Do you know that Amazon stock now would be worth $2 million? $2 million. So the same way you could put out a few $1,000s now and have millions of dollars, 16 years later. Sorry, the same way you could have done that in 2003. Well, you can do that now. 2003 is to 2019 what 2019 is to 2035. Let me say that again so we can make sure we're clear. 2003 is to 2019 what 2019 is to 2035. So what is your plan for world domination that will show itself in the year 2035? Are you going to own the year 2035? Are you going to own the year 2040? Is your family going to own the shit in 2045? Because if you give yourself time and you commit yourself to that vision that only builds through time, then you can get so far ahead of everybody else that it's ridiculous. But you got to get away from this standard thinking that's fed to us in our community. Our thinking is very what they call myopic, meaning short-sighted. It's very reactionary. We spend most of our time kind of responding to what somebody else did. It's not built for empire building because people don't understand. Empires get built by patience. Patience. Y'all know, hit the thumbs up button, please. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. Also, those of you who are watching on YouTube, if you're on the Black Financial Channel, please hit that subscribe button and the notifications button, and you'll get notifications whenever we go live. The Black Financial Channel is theblackfinancialchannel.com in case you guys want to go check it out. theblackfinancialchannel.com. I had the worst year of my life was like 1999. And I was in grad school, and my life had hit rock bottom. I was having a really hard time on my PhD program. I did not think I was ever going to get my PhD because things just kept going wrong. I had just been evicted from my apartment. I had to break my lease in the middle of the night and pack everything I had into a van and move in the middle of the night from New York to Ohio because I could not pay the rent. So financially, I was done, career-wise done. And also, there's this woman, I really love this woman, and she had a son, and I was really attached to the son. And then maybe a couple weeks earlier, I found out that that she'd met another guy, and it was one of those terrible things, like, oh yeah, I met this other guy. Oh really? Oh yeah, and we're sleeping together. Oh what? Oh yeah, and I'm moving in with him next week. It was one of those things. It was absolutely devastating. But I tell the story with a smile because when you hit that rock bottom, you really find out who you are, and you can reinvent yourself to rise back to the top. So sometimes you have to die in order to truly live. And at that time, I was emotionally dead. Like I literally could not get out of the bed because I was so devastated over everything. I remember just thinking, I was just sitting in my laptop and I was like crying, and I was thinking, why me? Like I'm working hard, I'm doing the right things, I'm not out here thugging, I'm a good person. Like why are these things happening to me? And then it's kind of like you realize tough shit, like that's life. Life ain't fair. Life ain't fair, and it's hard. You learn that lesson the hard way, and I did. And the most devastating part of that year was that I was very close to her son. That was my first experience in life of ever dating a woman with a child and really getting close to the child. Like, so me and her son, he called me daddy. Like we were that close. And I remember that I was I eventually, when I got over the fact that I lost the girl, I was really sad over the fact that I lost the child. Like that was more, hurtful than losing the woman. And so I remember I said to myself, I said, one day he's going to be a grown-up. He was only 5 at the time. I said, I'm just going to wait it out. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait till he's 18. I'm going to go find him, and I'm going to, see if he remembers me and try to reconnect with him. Because how kids are. They don't remember shit when they're like 2, 3, 4 years old, right? So anyway, so I saved his pictures. I saved a bunch of videos I had of him. I saved all that stuff. And I said it's 1999. By the year 2014, 2015, I'm gonna be able to execute my plan. I'm gonna be able to get my son back, and so the year 2015 came, and I went. So all the years went by, and every year I just kept making sure he was fresh in my memory. I never forgot him, and when 2015 came, I had my opportunity. I hate Facebook. Y'all know I hate Facebook with a passion, but I have to give thanks to Facebook because Facebook allowed me to find him. And when I found him, I reached out to him, and it was a little weird at first because I didn't know how much he'd remember. I didn't know if he'd think it was creepy that I thought about him. And he was ecstatic to see me again. He was ecstatic, and he was overwhelmed, when I showed him all these pictures and videos from when he was a kid. And it was emotional for both of us because He said, he said, I don't have any pictures from when I was a kid. And I asked my mother questions. She never would answer the questions, and we don't have it, And I was like, oh, I got video, and I showed him these videos of when he was 2 years old, and it kind of brought him to tears, and I even get choked up even telling this story, and but the thing is, it was like the thing that kept me going, that gave me hope, was I knew it wasn't always going to be this way, right? I learned at that time, you just got to hold on. You got to stay focused. You got to focus on your long-term vision. You just got to stay with it. And so if you want to know how I think about everything, that is a reflection of how I think about everything. I remember just kind of thinking, you know what? I'm going to outlive this moment. Like, I'm going to outlast whatever I'm going through. Like, it's going to come to an end. I'm going to hang in there, and I'm going to win, because I'm going to stay focused, and I'm never going to forget, what my true destiny is, where I'm supposed to be, and so so to me, the whole, God damn it. I didn't even know that. I'm sorry, guys. Forgive me for this. I apologize. So the thing is, that's how you win. That's how you win in life. You hold on, and you hang in there, and you make a long-term plan, and you stick with that shit. Because most of the, obstacles that you have, those obstacles are temporary. The haters you have, you can outlast the haters. The setbacks you have, you can outlast the setbacks. And if you have the stamina, like Nipsey Hussle's story was called the marathon. And I think the marathon is an appropriate way to look at life. If you're ready to run the marathon and everybody else is only built for a sprint, then you will eventually come out on top. You will eventually come out on top. Every area in my life where I've come out on top is because I just kept going when everybody else went to the side of the road. It don't matter. That's why I'm not scared of nothing. I'm not scared of nobody. I'm not scared of shit, because I know I can outlast you. I know. If y'all have watched me online, you have seen me for the last decade, every single day, be as consistent as the sun coming up in the sky. And that is because I know that's what it takes. So when it comes to building your business, building your family, building your future or your dream, you got to be a rock. You got to be a damn rock. Clockwork every day. Consistent every day. Rain, sleet, snow or hail every day. And you just hold on to that shit. You hold on to your dream, and you keep that dream alive. Don't let nobody kill that. Don't let no situations, circumstances, setbacks, haters, none of that kill that. And I didn't let nobody kill my dream of reuniting with my son. Like, I didn't care what, I had a lot of people that would tell me, like, oh, he's not your real son anyway. So nobody understood what I was feeling. Nobody cared. It was me in my dream, and that was it. That's all I had. I didn't have nobody I could talk to about that. And I felt like I was wronged. I felt like it was I didn't understand it. I didn't feel like I deserved it. But it's like, that's life. Sometimes life just doesn't work out for you, but you can outlast that shit. So take that mindset with you as you go start your business or whatever it is you're trying to do. You can outlast it. And remember, power goes to those who make the long-term plan. So what is your plan for the year 2035? That is my question for you today. I gotta go, guys. I'm about to go catch my flight. If you live near Philly and you want to come out, feel free. We'll be doing the seminar on May 19th. You can learn more at drboycephiladelphia.com. That's drboycephiladelphia.com. Please hit that thumbs up button. Whatever channel you're on, hit the thumbs up and share the video, stuff like that. And also, if you'd like to support Intelligent Black TV, we'd love to have you as a patron at intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. So thank you, Realize and Actuality, and thank you, Duel, for holding it down as a moderator. I appreciate it. And I hope that I hope that me embarrassing myself by letting it all out like that help somebody, because I'm a little embarrassed right now. I didn't plan on even telling that story, but I think that really all this stuff is not just about money and all that stuff. It's really about choosing your way of life, choosing who you're going to be, and so it's a spiritual journey. It ain't just about, money and education. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. I'll see you soon. Take care.